What's good? It's my hood. You know that shit, God. How you doing? How you living? Who you screwing? Twin. Twin. Who is it? 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 Who you screwing? Twin. Let me read your ass. Sex, drugs, and Cocoa Puffs by Chuck Klosterman. Did you get that? Did you get that? Did you get that? Oh my god, oh my god. Look at it. You see that? You see that on the edge? Gotta get rid of that. Hold on. And you see, after a good old classic wipe, I think we're good. I think we're good. You see? Look at the edges. Look at the edges. I think we're good. I think. We're good. We're good. Authority of Chuck Klosterman. Killing yourself to live. I remember saying, this shit was deep, twin. This shit was deep, twin, In my first time really looking at it, but I remember back from, the shit I looked at from the other videos, we on what, chapter 2, Billy Sim, chapter 2, Billy Sim, chapter 2, Billy Sim, chapter 2, Billy Sim, chapter 2, twin, Billy Sim. It's like, I am not a benevolent God. I am watching myself writhe in a puddle of my own. Okay, it's starting off crazy. Twin, starting off crazy. I am watching myself writhe in a puddle of my own urine, and I offer no response. I have not slept or eaten for days. My cries go unrecognized. My loneliness is ignored. I am watching myself endure a torture worse than death, yet I decline every opportunity to end this self-imposed nightmare. Darkness imprisoning me. All that I see, absolute horror. I cannot live, I cannot die, trapped in myself. My body is my holding cell. I am the master, and I am the puppet. Bro, it's deep, bro. I'm not gonna lie, he be cooking. I'm not gonna lie, but at the same time, it's so dark. And I am not the type of person who still plays video games. Shit, I do. Twin. I do, twin. Twin. I do. I realized there is a whole generation of adults born in the 70s who played Saga, Nintendo, as they banged away on their Atari 5200 in their George Plimpton endorsed Intellivision in 1982. I am not one of them. I agree with media virus author Douglas Ruskoff's theory that home video game consoles were the reason kids raised in the 1900s. Honestly, let's relax. See what I'm saying? Where was I? I lost my place. Oh God. Oh, consoles were the reason kids raised in the 1980s so naturally embraced the virtual mentality. We never thought it seemed strange to be able to manually manipulate what we saw on a video screen, but I'll never accept pixels killing other pixels as an art form or a sport or even a pastime. I don't even know what's going on, honestly. A homeless man once told me that dancing to rap music is the cultural equivalent of masturbating. Dancing to rap music is the cultural equivalent of masturbating. We gotta break that down. What the hell does that mean? Dancing to rap music is the cultural equivalent of masturbating. God almighty. And I'd sort of feel the same way about playing John Madden football immediately after filling my income tax. It's fun, but somehow vaguely pathetic. However, some things are just too enchanting and just too weird to ignore. Those were my thoughts when I first read about The Sims, arguably the most chill. However, some things are just too intense and just too weird to ignore. Those were my thoughts when I was first reading about the Sims, dude. Arguably the most holy postmodern piece of entertainment ever created. Much like the TV show Survivor, the Pokemon phenomenon, and Parliament Funkadelic, my bad. The Sims is a keenly constructed product that seems hopelessly absurd to anyone unfamiliar with it, but completely clear to anyone who's experienced it even once. Developed by Electronic Arts, The Sims is a video game where you do all the things you would do in real life. In real life, if you weren't playing a video game, you create a human character and it exists. That's it. Your character does things like read the newspaper. He takes a nap, play pinball, and empties the garbage. Your character invites friends over to his house, and they have discussions about money and sailboats. You buy oak bookcases, and you get pizza from Domino's. This is a whole game, and there's no way to win except to keep yourself from becoming depressed. The Sim is an escapist vehicle for people who want to escape where they already are, which is why I thought this game was made precisely for me. That's crazy. So, like, for people that play Sims, I know there's probably somebody out there that's watching this play Sims. Do you play that game to escape where you are deep down? It's okay to talk about it, and nobody here judge. Do you play that game to just have fun, just to enjoy? Because I can't tell you the last time I played Sims, but GTA, yeah, I'll play that now. I'll play that, and that's kind of like real life too, shit. But shit, I be playing that because it ain't no rules. You can go to jail, but you gonna get out. But like Sims, what he said. Is that you? Is that you? Is that you? Let me know. Who am I? Or perhaps, more accurately, who else could be me? Shh. Who else could be me? Who else could be you? Nobody, twin, nobody. The Sims is the only video game I have ever purchased. My goal, and probably the initial goal of most people who buy The Sims, was to create a perfect replica of the life I already have. Damn. I would build a character who looked just like me. Not this. I'm not gonna lie. This nigga, he's a little bit too deep. He's a little bit too deep, twin. He's a little bit too deep. I already have. I would build a character who looked just like me. I would name him Chuck Klosterman. I would design his home exactly like my own, and I would have him do all the things I do every day. Now this is crazy. Not gonna lie. Perhaps I unconsciously assumed I would learn something about myself through this process, although I have no idea what that could possibly be. Maybe it was just a desire to watch myself live. Pundits like to claim that a game like The Sims taps into the human preoccupation with voyeurism, but it's really a complete opposite. I don't care about peeping into anyone else's keyhole. I only want to see into Chuck's. I design my digital self as accurately as possible. Pasty skin, thick glasses, uncommitted haircut, ill-fated trousers. Outlining my character's personality traits was a little more complicated because nobody, myself included, truly knows how they act. I've never met anyone that I classify as self-aware. It's been my experience that most extroverted people think they're introverts, and many introvert people make a similarly wrong-headed juxtaposition what the fuck about being extroverts. Maybe that's why extroverts won't shut up, because they always fear they're not talking enough, while introverts just sit on the couch and nothing, because they're assuming everybody's waiting for them to be quiet. Damn, which one? I don't know. I really feel like I claim just being an introvert, because I feel like it's easier to be quiet than it is to talk. Which one you think you is, twin? Introvert, extrovert? You can't shut up, or is it just you feel like everybody already wants you to shut up? Which one? People just have no clue about their genuine nature. I have countless friends who describe themselves as cynical, as they're all wrong. True cynics would never classify themselves as such, because it would mean that they know their view of the world is unjustly negative. Despite their best efforts at being grumpy, a self-described cynic is secretly optimistic about normal human nature. Individuals who are truly cynical will always insist they're pragmatic. The same goes for anyone who claims to be creative. If you decline your personality as creative, it only means you understand what is perceived to be creative by the world at large. So you're really just following a rote creative template. That's the opposite of creativity. Everybody is wrong about everything, just about all the time. But anyway, I eventually created a Chuck in my own image and dropped him into a Sim 6 lane, a $15,000 home on the outskirts of an undeveloped suburb of SimCity. A relic from an earlier incarnation of this particular game, SimCity was the first simulated reality game to capture people's imagination, although SimCity seemed, at least retrospectively, oddly innocuous, and I don't know what the fuego that is. The object of the game was to design a vibrant community, transport systems, hospitals, animal shelters, etc. It was really just a game for amateur city planners, which is actually less boring than it sounds. SimCity led to Sim Earth, where players could exercise their Jones to be an odd Old Testament god. You took a dead planet and you created a breathable atmosphere, and you caused volcanoes, and you tried to spawn a few dinosaurs. This was a little more psychologically akimbo. What the fuego does that term mean? I know what psychologically it means, but putting akimbo after, like, isn't that like from Call of Duty? You know, you got the double guns. But still not preserved. Sim Earth was almost like an 8th grade science project. However, the Sims broke new ground for electronic pathos. It's not a game about imagining life like SimCity or even creating life, psych, Sim Earth. It's a game about experiencing life and experiencing it in the most mundane fashion possible. Whenever unimaginative TV critics try to explain the subtle, subversive genius of Seinfeld, they always went back to hack argument that it was about nothing. But that sentiment was always a little wrong. Seinfeld was about nothing, but its underlying message was that nothingness still has a weight and a mass and a conflict. What seemed so new about Seinfeld was that it didn't need a story to have plot. Nothing was still something. The Sims forces the aesthetic even further. Nothing is everything. My life as a Sim. Perhaps a more accurately, my life as my life. As I had long suspected, my 6-year-old niece Katie is not former lead singer of the Talking Heads. This had been somewhat obvious for a long time, but never more than the first time I had saw a copy of The Sims, which I happened to find at her parents' house in rural North Dakota. Since I had been fascinated by news stories about this game, I immediately tried to play The Sims when I noticed it was on the hard drive of my sister-in-law's computer. For about 15 minutes, my seminal pre-chuck wandered about the empty residential lots of Sim Village, trying to start conversations with inanimate objects. Young Katie couldn't help but notice my ineptitude about, and immediately tried to show me how the game was played and inadvertently how existence works, although I doubt she would have explained it that way. Damn, that was like first grade reading that last half. Katie displayed amazing dexterity at The Sims, effortlessly building a home and furnishing it with a cornucopia of household goods she could never operate in reality. She then instructed me to find a job and to make friends with other Sim citizens. especially the female ones. This is somewhat predictable as Katie profoundly enjoys asking me if I have a girlfriend. In parentheses. However, I immediately had dozens of questions for young Katie about my new life. If I don't yet have a job, how could I afford this residence? Who put all the food in my fridge? Elves, perhaps. Can I trust them? Why don't I need a car? Where did I go to college? Don't I have any old friends I could call for moral support? This is not my beautiful house. This is not my beautiful wife. Well, how did I get here? Unlike David Barney, these questions did not interest Katie. You just live here, she said. That's the way it is. But where did I get all this money? You just have money. But where did I come from? Nobody knows. You're just here. Am I one of the 55 million Americans living without health insurance? Be quiet. You won't get sick. This went on for several minutes, finally ending in a stalemate when Katie realized warm cookies were suddenly available in the kitchen. However, something struck me about this dialogue. It was uncharacteristic for Katie to be so unwilling to tell harmless lies. If she had been playing with her Barbie dream house, I asked her why Barbie had 4 pairs of shoes, but only 2 decent outfits. Katie would have undoubtedly spent the next half hour explaining that Barbie purchased the extra shoes while shopping in Hong Kong with Britney Spears and planned to wear them to a cocktail party in Grandma's basement. When playing with real-world toys, there's no limit to the backstory Katie would create for anything and animate or inanimate. That's how little girls are. But somehow it's different when life is constructed on a 16-inch screen. In the world of The Sims, Katie won't color outside the lines of perception. The rules become fixed. Fabricating a sim human's college experience would be no different than randomly deciding that 902 10's Brenda Walsh got a C+ in 10th grade biology. Those facts aren't available to anyone. Clearly, video technology cages imagination. It offers interesting information to use, but it implies that all peripheral information is irrelevant and off limits. Computers make children advance faster, but they also make them think like computers. Computers make children advance faster, but they also make them think like computers. That's deep right there, bro. Should we just take a break? Just take a break from technology. Damn, I was just about to get into my game and shit. But now I think we just need to moderate it, moderate how we use it. I'm thinking I should just take a break from Instagram next. Come back, check up on my B-Day. Just take a break. Just really chill. My 2025 is really just to focus on GTA 6, honestly, y'all. So I already need to focus on getting a new PC, because that's my next move. Let's get back to reading. But computers make children advance faster, but they also make them think like computers. Gotta get them children off computers, y'all. I tried to keep this in mind when I started my new and improved fake life upon my own purchase of The Sims. My hypothesis was that the game's accuracy would be dependent on my willingness to think within the confines of the game's creators. I had to think like a machine, and it's quite possible that its initial postulate was right, but I'll never really know because I couldn't do it as I made my little sim chuck live and work, and all I could think about was what I would think about. What the fuck? What makes The Sims so popular is dodged adherence to the minutiae of a substance, and that's where my stomach go rumbling, and that's where we're supposed to feel the realism. But the realism I felt was the worst kind. It was the hopelessness. It was the hopeless realization that I was doomed to live in my own prison, just like the singer from Creed. The Sims makes the unconsciousness conscious, but not in an existential Zen way. The Sims forces you to think about how often free people are internally enslaved by the process of living. Suddenly, damn, it Sims that deep, bruh. Is it? Is it? Is it? Suddenly, I had to remember to go to the bathroom. I had planned to take a shower instead of eating when I was hungry. I had to anticipate any and unfelt hunger that was always impending. If I didn't wake up at least an hour before work, I'd miss my ride and get fired. And though I need to do all those things in reality, the thoughts scarcely cross my mind unless I'm plugged into this game. After playing The Sims for my first 90 minutes, I paused the action, logged off my computer, and drove to the Chinese restaurant called the Platinum Dragons. I had to pass through some road construction, and it suddenly occurred to me that there would always be road construction, not always on this particular road, but somewhere. There will never be a point in my lifetime when all the highways are fixed. It's theoretically plausible that my closest friend might someday abandon me for no reason whatsoever, but it's completely impossible to envision a day where I could drive from New York to California without hitting roadwork somewhere along the way. It will always exist, and there's nothing I can do about it. Damn. And for the first time, that reality made me sad. Damn, he is spitting. I can't cap. I cannot disagree. He is spitting. He is going crazy. He is cooking. But he's just doing it in a very, very odd manner. Very odd manner. I need some chapstick. Hold on one second. I'm finna get into Chuck versus Chuck. Vaughn. Just got some chop. Bitch, you can't achieve it. It's called a thought. Chuck versus Chuck, or perhaps more accurately, why I don't understand anybody. Okay. There seems to be an inordinate number of movies about mankind going to war with the machines, Terminator, AI, that Stephen King flick with all the AC/DC songs, etc. That plot device always struck me as something of a cheap shot. As far as I can tell, machines have been nothing but completely civil to us. However, I can assure you that this scenario will never be a problem. Even if they completely turn on us, it turns out that computers are the most gutless goddamn cowards you'll ever meet. My Simchuck has absolutely no grit. He is constantly bummed out, forever holding his head and whining about how he's not comfortable or not having fun. At one point, I bought him a pretty respectable wall mirror for $300, and he responded by saying, "I'm too depressed to even look at myself." As an alternative, he sat on the couch and stared at the bathroom door. Quite the drama queen my Simchuck is. And why isn't my Simchuck happy? Because he's a self-absorbed, materialistic prick. This is perhaps the most disturbing element of The Sims. The happiness of the characters is directly proportional to the shit you elect to buy them. As far as I can tell, acquiring electronic equipment and name brand furniture is just about the only thing Sims find psychologically satisfying. The shopping angel appears to be the part of the game its designers found the most compelling, as their catalog of Fox products is bought massive and detailed. This is the kind of shit that would prompt Tyler Durden to hit somebody in the face. Take the on-screen description of some plasma TV. For example, buying this item for $3,500 increases the owner's fun rating by 6 full points, and this is what you'd get. Perfect form, perfect image. Goddamn, get out of the way. Perfect image, conformity. Goddamn, perfect entertainment. Some consumer electronic takes the plasma phenomenon to a brave new level. In this elegant technology statement, with its incredible image quality, unique form, and super thin flat-perspective screen, the Soma Plasma TV is the undisputed leader in nanopixel technology. It would be fun to claim that this kind of price is right product exposition and is a treacherous form of unexpected advertising, but that wouldn't be true, as all the products in The Sims are fake, and it would make me seem as the astute as Chip Lambert if I suggested this game is latently attempting to brainwash children into believing that shopping is an important part of life. But I honestly don't think that whackmobile geeks at Electronic Arts have motives that's sinister. It's basically just weird, and it's indisputable proof that The Sims is not a strategy game, but even though that's what it calls itself, if this was somehow about strategy, all we need to know is that getting the biggest television gets you X number of fun points, but nobody cares about the math. The reason so much effort has been placed in the promotion of fake Sims merchandise is so that if real life players will enjoy the experience of buying real life players will enjoy the experience of buying them. If it's, I keep saying if instead of it's, because you know that dread is like really cutting the line and it's really making it seem like it's if instead of it's, y'all. So bear with me, the life of a YN, you feel me? It's almost circular logic. If a human plane that doesn't exist, the human plane, what the fuego? I just skipped the whole gosh damn line. It's almost circular logic if a human playing The Sims somehow enjoys pretending to buy a plasma TV that doesn't even exist. It stands to reason that my little Simchuck would profoundly enjoy watching said TV if it was somehow real. By this justification, buying high-end electronics really should cure depression. Should it? And what's even more amazing is that this is kind of true, and ultimately, it's what I'll never understand about human nature. Simulated or otherwise, I never enjoy the process of buying anything, but I get the impression that most Americans love it. What The Sims suggests is that buying things makes people happy because it takes their mind off being alive. I would think this would actually make them feel worse, but every human I've ever dated seems to disagree. Yawning is contagious, so if I'm yawning, you're probably gonna end up yawning. If you see me yawning, then you're gonna end up getting sleepy. So you watch this video. It is a cheat code to falling asleep. Oh boy, how many more pages we got? I don't want to end up falling asleep while reading. We ain't got that much, y'all. We ain't got that much. Oh shit. I need to sip my water. Let's go. Shut up. Let's go. To succeed at this game, I am forced to consume like a mofo. Perhaps the greatest chasm between Chuck and Simchuck is that I don't own a bed. He can't live without one. I realize it might seem crazy for a 30-year-old to exist without a bed, but I just can't get myself to buy one. It never seems worth it because all I would use it for is sleeping. And once I'm unconscious, what do I care where I'm lying? Damn, I get by fine with my sleeping machine, sort of a self-styled nest in the corner of my bedroom. Oh, I can't deny that some overnight visitors to my chamber of slumber have been disturbed by my unwillingness to own a traditional bed, but the simple truth is that I don't need that kind of luxury in my life. My sleeping machine provides all the room I require. I hope I never own a bed, but don't tell that to Simchuck until I got him his 1,000 Napoleon sleigh high bed, made with actual wood and real aromatic cedar. All he did was cry like a little bitch. I need love, or perhaps less accurately, God damn it, boy, love is all around, but not only around. I need love is a real sentence because he said I need love, period. Or less accurately, love is all around, but only around. Real niggas do need love. Truth be told, my secret motivation for experimenting with The Sims was to see if I could sustain any kind of successful relationship within the scope of the game. Essentially, playing to get play. I'm guessing this is a pretty big draw for all Sims obsessives. since it's hard to imagine how anyone regularly sitting in front of a computer for hours at a time could be having much sex. I realize that's a stereotype, but the popularity of The Sims almost irrefutably proves it to be true. The game is single-mindedly designed to be a reflection of a normal life that's filled with normal human interaction. Apparently, the notion is so far removed from gamers that it can be pursued through a fantasy realm. Still, there's something oddly utopian about The Sims' relationship-driven peacenik theology. Unlike other video games I've enjoyed in the past, The Legend of Zelda Elevator Action, the original Nintendo version of Metal Gear, etc., The Sims does not require me to kill virtually everyone I've met. As I've met other Sims in the neighborhood, my initial options are to talk with them, understandable, joke with them, also understandable, tickle them, somewhat less understandable, or sneak up behind their back and scare the crap out of them. Pretty incomprehensible, but hard to resist. Our interactions are marked by thought bubbles that contain little pictures of the conversation topic. The characters don't speak with the real words. They talk in a goofy pigeon language that has been compared to the teachers in old Peanuts cartoons. Although I tend to think it sounds like a combination of French ebonics and Japanese pop band Pizzicato 5. Interestingly, Sims players in different counties sometimes assume that what they are hearing is a real dialogue that they merely can't decipher. Electronic Arts has fielded phone calls from Americans who thought they had accidentally purchased the Spanish version, Germans who suspected they had been sent the Italian version, Brazilians who thought they had the Canadian version, etc., etc., etc. Bam. And that's real. People actually thought like them niggas was supposed to be speaking in English, but they're supposed to be speaking in their language, but they was speaking in another language. Some people stupid. The first two people I, being Simchuck, met in suburbia are Mortimer and Bella. Mortimer and Bella, a guy with a mustache and a woman wearing a tight red dress that they evidently live nearby. Mortimer is like my real world friend, Dr. Dave in Akron. He's always up for anything. Bella is a tougher nut to crack. She often glances at her watch when I talk to her, but because Bella's a woman, I keep talking and talking and talking. I throw a little tickling into the mix, and I talk some more. And in no time at all, I am given the opportunity to select flirt option whenever I meet Bella on the street. I start calling Bella on my sim phone several times a day, and she always comes over immediately. The Simchuck is one suave bastard. A little pink heart icon appears next to Bella's on-screen dossier, and she begins defining me as the sim I adore. We smooch hardcore, yet for some reason I can't come up with a finishing move. It's not so much that Bella declines to sleep with me, it's more that I don't know how to ask. I stand by my bed and car name, and she runs right over. But then we start talking about skiing. I buy a billiard table in order to impress her and to set the stage for some penthouse forum. Cybele Shepherd in the last picture, show style shagging, but all she does is clap her hands. I mean, I know she's comfortable with me, but she has no qualms about using the toilet while I'm standing right next to her, and experience that light years more intimate than most kinds of oral sex. But Simchuck remains denied. And you know why Simchuck gets no nookie? Because Bella was lying to me all along. At the height of our relationship, I invite Bella over for a game of pool and maybe more, and she says, sure, I'd love to come over. Can I bring a friend? I reluctantly agree, but guess who shows up? Mortimer. It turns out he and Bella are married. Upon watching Bella's hello embrace, Mortimer immediately slaps me, and we kind of scuffle. I try to call him the next morning to apologize, but he tells me to get bent. In a matter of simulated hours, I've managed to lose my only male acquaintance by not having sex with his wife. This is unprecedented. But even Chuck can't compare with the problems of Sim Chuck. I had no choice but to buy Zeman's component hi-fi stereo system. $650. What the fuck? Is like he's really going through this life of Sim, like through detail of this life of Sim. Like, how do you even remember this? Honestly, I mean, it's not really deep at the moment, y'all. We just really talking about Sims. So let's just keep going. Let's just vibe. God's God, or perhaps miraculously, will write. After 72 hours of swimming, I had grown so despondent over the sexless, consumer-obsessed state of mind, fake life that I called directory assistance, and got the number of Electronic Arts in Redwood, California, demanding to speak to Sims creator Will Wright. They directed me. Damn, he was deep. They directed me to their satellite divisions, Maxis, and I used their Maxis company directory to leave a message with Mr. Wright, assuming he was working on the prototype for Soul and would most likely never call me back. However, I was wrong. He returned my call in just a few hours and tried to help me understand how I've managed to destroy my life twice. Okay, if there's any core question with the Sims, it's got to be, what is the purpose of life? It is to be loved. It is to be rich. Is it to be loved? Is it to be rich? Is it to be successful? They're the same questions you could ask if you never knew the game existed, Wright told me. But it doesn't seem like some people come to these interesting conclusions about themselves when they play. And if a game changes your perception of the world around you, is successful. By that definition, The Sims would in fact be classified as art, and art in truest sense of the word. Wright clearly sees it as such, and he makes a good argument. A 42-year-old who never graduated from college, though he did log time at Louisiana State, Louisiana Tech, and New School in New York City. Wright fell into programming and gaming as an extension of his interest in robotics, a mentality that's readily noticed in Sim behavior. I explained the conditions of my dilemma to Wright, and perhaps predictably, he seemed to have heard every one of my questions before. I told him what had happened with Bella. Yeah, Bella's kind of a slut, he snickered. He explained that his larger vision with The Sims was to show how day-to-day living is in a day of itself, and is in and of itself an ongoing strategy problem, which is why so much of The Sims is built around the time constraints and the oblique pressure of responsibility. We even had a friendly chat about Abraham Maslow's hierarchy and needs, which probably wouldn't have happened if had called the creator of Donkey Kong. However, Wright bristled when I suggested The Sims is mostly a glorification of consumerism that ultimately suggests happiness is available at the mall. He didn't necessarily seem annoyed by this accusation, but he remains baffled that everyone who plays The Sims seems to come to the same conclusion. Materialism is the red herring of the game, he says. Nobody seems to pick up on that. The more you play, the more you realize that all the stuff you buy eventually breaks down and creates all these little explosions in your life. If you play long enough, you start to realize that those things won't really make you happy. Last page, y'all. When Wright told me this, I immediately asked if what Sim Chuck needed was midlife crisis. Maybe if I kept playing, he'd eventually reach a point where he'd be self-actualized, even if I took away his 1,800 pinball machine. Once again, Wright bristled. He asked if I was talking about the little person in my computer or the little person in my own mind. I told him that it was hard to tell the difference because we both seemed to be doing the same shit, and neither one of us knew why. Well, life doesn't have a score, Wright said. I've noticed that whenever people play The Sims for the first time, they do all these little experiments. They want to see what their power will do. So they look they lock a character in a room for 5 days and watch them starve to death. They'll try to make somebody electrocute themselves, but at some point the power is meaningless. It stops being interesting. You need to have somebody pushing back. That reminded me of something, or perhaps more accurately, that reminded me of someone. I hung up the phone and went back to my computer, opening The Sims and revisiting the place I had been when I started this essay. My Simchuck was still there, frozen in space, hungry and tired and gesturing like a madman covered in piss. Up until my discussion was right, I had assumed individual Sims could not be killed. I thought they were like doomed vampires from Anne Rice novels, forced to exist eternally in a world they did not create. In the truth, my Sim was just a confused little guy, still waiting for a reason to live. I clicked on the options key and directed my cursor to the button that said free will. I deployed actualization, and the Simchuck was emancipated. I watched him take a shower and crawl into his sleeping machine, where he slept for the next 14 hours, and then I did the same. Bam. And then I did the same. 14 hours. Next up. Shut up, boy. Hold on. Let me. I swear, like, he be trying to like have his little feature, have his little join in on a session. But nobody. Next up, we'll be reading chapter 3. What happens when people stop being polite? We just had a whole chapter on The Sims. I don't know how I feel after that, but you let me know, and y'all nigga out.